What is the best way to deal with the harms of hate speech? In light of hate motivated attacks on people of all kinds, many have lobbied the government to enact hate speech laws that would apply to speech on social media platforms. Many perpetrators of vile hate crimes use social media as a platform for their hateful views. Social media sites have also been blamed for inspiring hateful attacks by virtue of hosting these views on their platform unchecked. Groups have accused social media platforms of not doing enough to combat hateful speech on their platforms that they claim leads directly to deadly attacks. For their part, many of the largest social media platforms have hate speech policies that, if violated, can lead to a temporary or permanent ban. Users can also report other users for hateful speech directed at specific people or groups. The Government of Canada has been planning to introduce legislation targeting online hate speech. Prime Minister Trudeau has promised to introduce this legislation within 100 days of his third term. This did not happen, and that is a good thing. When attempting to criminalize speech, you risk trampling on the rights to freedom of speech that we hold dearly in this country. Government bureaucrats should not be the ones entrusted to uphold freedom of speech and be the judge of what is and isn't hate speech. The question comes down to what is hate speech? Is saying the N word hate speech? Calling someone the N word on Twitter would certainly get you banned, but it isn't illegal. Being racist is not illegal in Canada, as long as you're not discriminating against somebody. Acts and words of hatred are illegal if they are likely to cause violence, such as a fight. In the context of online speech, though, it would be difficult to prove that words of hatred would incite a physical altercation. The government should keep a 10-foot pole's distance between itself and social media. The rule comes in when someone decides to act on the hate in their heart. Up until then, it is the job of families, friends, society, and social media platforms to combat hate. We know that education is the best tool to combat hate. Children should be taught about the various atrocities committed in the name of hate and should know what caused humans to kill their fellow man. Nobody is born racist. It is taught, and oftentimes the individual knows very little about the group that they hate. Education and exposure to diversity are two important tools in fighting against racism and hate. Social media companies also have an obligation to prevent hateful speech that promotes violence on their platforms. For many of the most recent acts of hate crimes, there were red flags that were not acted on fast enough to prevent some terrible crimes. Social media users should also feel obliged to call out hate when they see it. Societal peer pressure can be quite powerful. It is the job of all of us to combat hate speech, but the government should tread carefully when it comes to free speech rights.